The content of patch 1.13 has been announced, and there has been some heated discussion about the solo versus squads matchmaking feature. Hi, my name is NoFace. Let's talk about it. Now, I've already posted my pretty heated knee-jerk reaction to this feature update. However, I thought about it some more, and I think I realized what Embark is trying to do here. So with this poorly drawn graphic, in the solo matchmaking case, you have a pool of players, let's say about 100,000 players. Solo players will only ever go against solo players. They will not have duos in their lobby. They will not have trios in their lobby. They're not part of the same matchmaking pool. Now for duo and trio, it's a bit different because they're actually part of the same pool. Embark has already stated that duo players will prioritize against other duo players, but there is an off chance where you run into a trio. This happens because maybe the pool is too small, the trio queue time was a bit too long, what have you. So in this case, the 100k players are shared between the duo queue players and the trio queue players. This will change when solo queue players are allowed to get into these lobbies, and in fact may make them more fair and faster for you to get into a game. Duo players will most likely prioritize against other duo players, and if they need to fill the lobby, well, you have solo queue available, and it will be fair for the duo queue team. And of course, faster matchmaking. For the trio queue case, it's just going to be faster matchmaking because you're already at the max size. So for duos and trios, sure, that works out fine, but what about the solo queue players? What is their incentive? Embark has chosen to give us 20% increase in XP, whether you extract or not. I don't think this is really useful because if you are someone going into this mode, you should probably already be level 75. So if you really want to challenge, then obviously go in at level 40. But in reality, you're probably going to be level 75 before you even choose to go into this particular mode. So what are the real benefits of this mode? One, it fixes matchmaking from Embark's perspective because it helps out the duos and trios get maybe a fairer lobby and faster matchmaking. It gives solo queue players a challenge. And three, for people that tend to PvP in solo queue lobbies will now be more incentivized to go into this particular lobby instead without Embark having to add a purely PvE mode. Because if you notice, there's been an unspoken rule that if you're in solo, it's probably going to be very PvE oriented. And this is going to help slide the PvP players more into this other type of lobby because duos and trios are definitely a lot more PvP oriented. Now, what do I think about the level 40 requirement? I think there's two reasons why it's there. One is it gives a psychological separation. Remember that when you first started playing the game, you were not allowed to play the other maps. You were only allowed to play damn Battlegrounds. As you level the account, you were able to gain access to these other maps. Considering that this mode, it requires you to be at least level 40, you're basically telling the player, hey, this mode is going to be difficult. Are you sure you want to do this? So it's kind of a psychological effect. The second reason is actually for cheaters. So you're probably going to say, NoFace, what are you talking about? How does this deal with cheaters? You have to keep in mind that you do need to buy an account, and to get to level 40 is going to require a time sink. So you have a time and money sink, which may deter cheating. But then you're going to say, well, NoFace, couldn't a cheater just join a duo or trio random queue? Yes, they could, but it would also up the chances of them getting caught. Because keep in mind that the only players that you're allowed to spectate is your own team, and their own team may rat out the cheaters, as they should. So cheaters are going to be much more enticed to join in as a solo queue and roll through the lobby. And by rolling through the lobby, they're probably going to be a bit more risky because they think they're not going to get caught, when in reality, Embark may be watching a bit more closely in this particular mode. That's my take on the whole situation. What do you think about this new matchmaking mode? I think it's going to be a overall positive thing because it doesn't really negatively affect anything. I do wish there was something a bit more interesting about it though. And I'll see you topside.